In this video, I'm going to show you how to get flexible hamstrings without stretching your hamstrings directly. I'm going to show you how to get flexible hamstrings by stretching your adductors because of this one principle. I'll show you 4 different ways to do it, and at the very end, I've got a challenge for you, and if you could do the challenge at the very end, you will have loose and flexible and strong hamstrings for the rest of your days, okay? It's a little bit of work. Stick around, but let's get into this right now. Welcome to day 2 of stretching mistakes. The mistake today is stretching your hamstrings directly. If you stretch them directly, maybe you get the hamstrings. But if you think about movements and not muscles, as we're going over today, we're going to work on the hip hinge and we're going to focus on the adductors. But if you can do it correctly, you will also get hamstring flexibility. In stretching mistakes, day 2, I'm teaching you how doctors think about stretching. I'm Dr. John Cybulski. Welcome to the Anatomy of Therapy. If you haven't already, please hit the like button. Help people find the channel. Leave a comment below. I'm a practicing doctor now for 10 years, so if you have questions, comments, please leave them. I'd be happy to answer. But today, again, we're talking movements, not muscles. And the movement we're discussing today is, in fact, the hip hinge. So you're going to see this hinging happening at the hip. That is why he is keeping his arms up overhead. This is Simon Neeland. I'll put a link below to his stuff. He's got a bunch of great programs. We're supporting local coaches. So if you want to know more about Simon and his programs, I highly recommend him. He's a good man. Great stuff. Wonderful Instagram. Great programs. But the arms overhead here today, you don't really have to do that. He is doing that to maintain an upright torso, to keep the north half of this hip hinge upright, okay? This is actually a pancake progression from Simon. We're also going to do Lucas over here, Range of Strength. Also got some great programs. You'll see the link below. But let's get into this first one here today. This is the hinge, okay? So this is the pancake hinge. We're working on the hinge. What you're gonna do is get a ball, and you're just going to push your knees back into full extension, which is of course gonna hit your hamstrings, and with your legs out wide here, you're gonna feel your adductors and your groin. If you're keeping an upright torso, you're going to feel your abs going crazy. You can see Simon working like a boss. But just roll back and lock those knees straight as you try to bring your torso forward without losing the flexion in your torso, or the upright extension in your torso, rather. So he's just rocking back. This is going to be a very easy way, if you were to do this repetitively, to keep your torso upright. By the way, this is also keeping a strong back. If you feel your back kind of fall forward, it means you kind of have a weak back. And that also means that this posterior chain is weak, which is probably why your hamstrings are tight in the first place. So if you don't have the hinge, you're not going to get the hamstrings. Again, you don't have to keep the arms up. He's just being super strict. These are Simon's rules, not mine. If you want hamstrings, all we're focusing on is the rocking back and extending that knee fully as best you can. So he's going to rock back, push the heels into the ground, lock those knees, and kind of stick your butt back. This is really going to groove the hip hinge when you're kind of pushing your butt back through that ball. That is an important part of this hinge. If you've got a deep squat, this is the way to go. This is going to also prep you for our challenge at the very end of the video, so stick around for that. Let's go to the next one. This is going to be a little bit of an easier one, and we're going to target one groin on one side. So you're going to have a knee out way over here. You're going to have this foot way out, as far as you can really take it, to be quite honest. And then what you do is you just rock back. So the one thing that people do with this is, this is your starting position, okay? This knee and this foot should be right in line, okay? The knee and the foot are in line. Once you set that, then you can forget that, and then you're going to put your elbows, you're going to rock all the way forward. So as you rock forward, again, try to keep this straight torso. If you don't, that's fine. You're going to feel a good bit in the groin. Your groin is a 3D. It's not a uniplanar muscle, and as you rock back, you'll feel a whole different part of your groin. You can rock forward and all the way back. I love this one because you can do a bunch of reps with this one. And please do a bunch of reps with this. Do not stretch and hold. None of these stretches are stretches and hold, okay? This is an adductor. It will help you with the hinge. But again, the rocking back is the hinging part of this. So this is a great old school way to teach people how to hinge, how to get into their hips, as they say, kind of a deadlift thing as well. But you really want to be able to throw those hips way back so you can get high up in the hamstring, high up in the groin. This is a little bit easier way. If you don't have a ball, go ahead and go all the way forward and rock all the way back. Most people really focus on the back and they rarely rock forward, but I love Simon's version of this. You don't see this often. As he goes forward, he brings his hips all the way down. So you're going to get higher up into that groin along the inguinal ligament. Whereas as you go back, you should get further back into the hamstring and adductors as well. Okay. You'll obviously go ahead and flip sides after you do that one. Sets and reps. You guys always leave great comments. Leave comments below. Hit the like button if you haven't already. But in this one, sets and reps, you need to do these until you can't. And then you need to do a couple more if you want to progress. Okay. If you're just warming up, really you should just get your blood flowing and then go work out. If you have a tight hamstring, a tight adductor, a tight back, you need to do at least 12 or 15 of these, okay? Really groove the pattern, really get into it. This is going to be the third and kind of hardest one. I've got an easier one coming up, so stick around for the easy one. This is very similar to a little bit of both. We got a little bit of this, we got a little bit of that, and now we're combining it. If you don't have all the tools, that's fine. But what we're going to do is it's almost a split lunge, right? And then he's going to sit back into these hips. So we've got the knee here, and we've got this foot well far forward. So you're already going to get a bunch of tension on this hamstring. Again, try to keep an upright torso. Arms up is great. Keep your arms up. Simon is very strong, okay? It's going to be really hard for most of us to keep those arms up overhead, but do your best, okay? So we've got the knee out. We've got this one well forward. It's a lunge, and it's not nearly as far out as, say, this guy is, but it's about the same as that one. So knee out, and then you're going to, again, hinge back into that hip, and you are going to get a crazy hamstring stretch, groin stretch. On the opposite and the passive side, you're also going to get a great stretch. And he is just working on also strengthening his back, keeping in that hinge position, and then groin and hamstring like crazy on this one. If you can do 3 to 5 of these, you're strong. So this is obviously not only, hopefully you notice that this on this channel, this is not just stretching, because ultimately I don't care about stretching. I want you flexible. And if you are strong in these positions, you will have flexible hamstrings. Simple as that. But I love this one. It's one I haven't actually seen before. This is part of the legend of Simon. It's a great one. He's preparing for the pancake, but man, this would be an awesome hip warm-up if your hamstrings or groin are super tight. And secondarily, if you're on your own and you don't have a lot of stuff to strengthen up your back, this is another great one to strengthen up your back. You're going to be working this one. This one might be my new favorite one. I did a bunch of these the other day, and hello, they'll wake you up real fast. You have to play with the distance, increasing your feet out wide. You've got to find a good figure that out, honestly. Mess around with it. You'll find a good space for you. If it gets too crazy, you can just bail out and find a better one. Okay, so this is probably the easier one of them, but this is a lazy one. I love lazy stretches. We have to go to this one to see this guy. Okay, here's the one we need to go. Okay. So this is Aaron Lucas Aaron, Range of Strength. Again, I'll link below to a bunch of his programs. So this is one I'll probably give to more of my patients because we're putting the feet on the wall. And again, look, we're nice and lateral to the wall. This is great. You can be kind of lazy. You want to go to your maximum kind of width wide in your knees, okay? You don't want to go too crazy wide, but he's got a pretty good spread. So let's just say knees are double the width of his shoulders out here, right? It's a good place to stay. You want to get comfortable in this position. Yep, check the spots. Good. Keep those feet flat so they don't move. Those tibias are locked in. You're out here. You're keeping that anterior pelvic tilted dump forward. And then what you do is you go to the next phase and you bring yourself up, okay? So in this way, come forward. Let's go to the end here. In this way with your feet trapped, and then you're going to bring your hands up. Let's go ahead and bring up here. Go all the way to the top. Cool. Then you're going to hold this position. You can't really let your hips go forward because these knees are blocking and the hips are back. This is an awesome one to help open up the groin. You're going to feel this really, really high up in your groin. Let your pelvis tilt forward. That's fine. If you have a chair or something, you can put your hands up on the chair just to bring your torso a bit higher. But this is an awesome one to kind of sit back in. If you don't feel the stretch on your groin here, feel free to move those feet a little further out, or the feet further out on that side, wherever they might be, not in the shot. This is an awesome one to be lazy in. I love to sit in these kind of positions and just have my phone and just listen to a podcast, this lovely podcast. Our lovely podcast, The Anatomy of Therapies. Find us on iTunes. We got a Patreon, link below. Like it and all the stuff. But this is a really easy one. Probably should have started with this one. This is a fun one to just kind of hang out in. The deal with this one, as you hang out in it, what you need to do is make sure that you are just here long enough until you get like a crazy, crazy burn. Just hang out there. Go as long as you can. This is one of the reasons why stretching doesn't work. You're going to do a stretch for 10 seconds, 90 seconds even. You got to go until the stretch, the soft tissue that you want, the hamstrings or the groin in this case, gets to a place where it starts to connect with your central nervous system. And when that central nervous system notices that there's not a problem with it there, in other words, you've got to go till it feels like a threat almost. Trauma is how we kind of change, right? So I want you to do some controlled trauma in this position. Hang out until you can. Okay, now to the challenge. This is the best part of the video. I'm glad you stuck around for it. If you haven't or you skipped to it, this is what I want you to do. It's the horse stance challenge. So this is going to be, man, he's wider than seven steps wide. What I'm talking about with 7 steps wide, and these are good mornings. Horse stance good mornings. So what you're going to do basically is get into the horse stance with the feet. You start with your feet together and then you move them 1, 2, and you keep moving your feet wider and wider. The usual number of stances is 6. So like if your feet together, this is 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4, that's 5, that's 6. So he's pretty wide. You get 5 or 6 steps wide, and what you're going to do is you're just going to hold this position. If you can get 2+ minutes, if you can get 3 minutes, if you can get 4 minutes, comment below on how long you were able to do the horse stance. Let's do a horse stance challenge because it is not easy, and you will see just kind of how weak, in fact, way high up in your upper hamstrings and your groin actually is. All you're gonna do is stay there and sweat. The Tai Chi guys that usually do this are supposed to do it for an hour, which is unreal to me. But I'm telling you, 5 minutes is brutal. I like to hold something in the front so I can go up and down with my torso. It actually gives you a little bit of relief. So you can kind of go down and feel a little bit of stretch, go up and down. It's also very hard if you get that wide to be completely upright. You'll notice just how weak, in fact, your low back is. Horse stance. How long can you hold it? You don't have to go this wide. This is like legit 8 or 9 paces wide. And you don't have to hold anything too heavy. You can hold something. I actually think holding something like a little kettlebell or a medicine ball or something like that is really nice to hold. But yeah, see how long you can do it. Man, I start to get smoked at about 3 minutes. Am I ashamed of it? Absolutely. Am I going to keep working on it? Absolutely. And so should you. But if you can think about movements and not muscles, attack the groin, you will also get the hamstring. If you get the hamstring by itself, you may not get the hamstring. Get the groin and the hinging movement of the hips, which you will absolutely get with the groin. Check out Simon Neeland. Check out Range of Strength. They both have great programs if you're interested in their stuff. I really highly suggest it. Thank y'all so much for watching. I'm out. Peace.